For me to record those two pieces by Prokofiev and Britten was actually a dream which I dreamt a long time ago, because I was studying both pieces with the dedicated with Slava Rostropovich. And the complexity of those pieces and the sheer power that you need to play those works are probably the most demanding in the cello repertoire on a symphonic scale, and this was for me especially challenging. Prokofiev's Sinfonia Concertante was written almost exactly 60 years ago in 1953, and this was actually the last work that Prokofiev has written, his last major work, and he has included so many aspects of the music, so many characters, emotional scenes, theatrical passages, that make this piece actually one of the most complex and one most actually ambiguous pieces that have ever been composed. And it's just fascinating to follow all those colors going on in the orchestra and what the cello reflects to that. So that's for the listener and the interpreter incredibly exciting. In Britten's Cello Symphony, this is a piece that has been written almost exactly 10 years later, in 1963. So Britten had the opportunity to study Prokofiev's piece before, and since there was this friendship with Rostropovich, and they were all just amazed by the sheer ability of this musician, of this giant of Russian music culture, there are actually similarities between those works, and Britten used a more dark language in his cello symphony, and this is what I think you have to bring out in the interpretation. And also it is very important to have a very deep connection between the orchestra part and the cello part, because it's in many ways it's chamber music on a larger scale, on a symphonic scale. Both works, Prokofiev and Britten, reflect also the history at the time, because both works were written shortly after the end of the Second World War. And there is also this element of, you know, crossing the borders or transcending the borders, because at that time people couldn't, you know, like we can today, just travel into any other countries. And actually both composers, Britten and Prokofiev, they were immigrating to the United States, because they were feeling that at those times of the war they couldn't actually stand the political situation, and they couldn't stand living in the times of where they felt almost imprisoned at the time. But both composers, they came back and they created those music which in a way reflects a universal musical language, but also doesn't deny their heritage, where they came from. Britten from England and Prokofiev from Russia. And this is something that I feel is important, and that you need to reflect into your interpretation. The recording, which I did last year in the Philharmonie in Cologne, together with the WDR Sinfonieorchester and Jukka-Pekka Saraste conducting, will come out in autumn in 2012 and will be available on the ORFEO label.